The bye weeks are over. It's all about football all the time as we're underway here in Week 13. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. First carry for Kenyon Drake. And he'll fight forward to about the 27-yard line. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be second down.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line.
Black 22! Black 22!
On second down, it's Drake. And they'll bring him down after just a short pickup. Just a couple on the ground there, and that's going to bring up 3rd and about 6. Good job there keeping him to a short gain. Of course, he's coming off a really terrific performance, reigning NFC Defensive Player of the Week.
And I know people get caught up in, well, if you're the reigning Defensive Player of the Week, you must have made a bunch of spectacular plays. Like you mixed in a few of those, but most of the plays are just like we saw there. Keep them to short gains, make the fundamental tackle.
Black 22! Black 22!
Throwing on 3rd down, Watson. And this is going to be incomplete.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? Zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
It's a 49-yard punt, but subtract 9 there for the return. And it'll be Packer football here. 1st down and 10. Rodgers will bring the pack up with a 1st and 10 at their own 28-yard line.
319!
The former Indiana Hoosier here, Tevin Coleman. And this will go for 5 up to the 33.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable 2nd down. A very solid gain on that play.
Now Rodgers throwing on 2nd down. Under pressure, and the Texans able to get in there for the sack.
Brandon, if I'm an offensive coordinator and I see an all-out rush like that, I file it away because I'm going to use their aggressiveness against them as this game goes on. I'm going to hit them with a screen soon.
Rodgers now, after the sack, he'll lead the pack up on 3rd and long.
319! 26!
Shotgun now for Rodgers. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. He's going to field this at the 4. 21 yards. Well done on the return. And the Texans will take over with a 1st and 10. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. And, you know, certainly a lot of football left to be played. We're not into December yet, but right now where we stand, they're first place in their division. Looking good, looking to be a threat come January.
And let's think about what every team has in their goals, all right? Number 1 goal is what? Make the playoffs. Number 2 goal is win your division. Number 3 goal, and the biggest goal, I think, is to be the highest seed possible that you can be heading into the playoffs so that you can have as many home games as possible to try and get you to the Super Bowl.
And right now fighting for every win possible to try to at least secure home field for the wild card and or divisional round. After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11.
Richmond. Tiger.
Here's Watson now on 2nd down. Escaping the pressure right. All in all, no gain on the play, and it'll bring up 3rd.
And while he did a good job of sliding around in the pocket, there was nowhere to go with the football, so he had to take off and try and run. He just got back to the line of scrimmage, no gain.
The threat of a second straight punt to start the game is looming as they come up 3rd and 10.
Come back.
Now Watson on 3rd down. Trying to force it to Hopkins, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Josh Jackson.
You can try and underthrow it and go back shoulder, but your timing has to be impeccable. And here, I think it was much more of a duck than a designed back shoulder throw.
So after the INT, it's Rodgers. Going underneath, it's Coleman. And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35. Give him 11 yards that time and a new set of downs. On 1st down, Rodgers. And he'll be grabbed from behind and slung down like a rag doll. DJ Reader in there to drop him for his 5th sack of the year. Now following the sack, they'll look to make amends on a 2nd down and 17.
Zoom. Hey, 626. No.
Shotgun now for Rodgers. And he's going to go down again. Jadeveon Clowney in there to drop him, and he continues to wreak havoc in offensive backfield. Sack number 16 on the year. Rodgers now, after the sack, he'll lead the pack up on 3rd and long. Working from the gun, Rodgers. And this one is incomplete. You can tell they were hoping for a flag there offensively. Several on the sideline motioning. Hey, why not a penalty? Why not a penalty? What did you see?
Yeah, I think you've got to let them play, and the officials are instructed. If there's contact coming from both sides, no flag. Let them fight it out.
And forces 4th down. And now out comes Houston. And this is a unit that, to be frank, doesn't look like they've woken up yet. I mean, a punt and a turnover on their first 2 drives.
And I think the game's starting to take shape a little bit now. And I'm going to take it into the basketball world. When you're having trouble scoring or moving the ball in basketball, what do? Get it to their best player, right? Find a matchup, create it, exploit it, and try and move the football.
Here's Foreman, able to push his way through. And he'll get him a little space here up to the 5-yard line. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
When we see those runs to the perimeter, when we see those runs to the edge, we think about big breakers, don't we? In this case, it was a modest gain, but it does open up possibilities here on 2nd down.
On the give, this is Drake. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. They'll say no gain on the play there, and now it'll be 3rd down.
I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker, and what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
To throw is Watson.
And that's their first sack of this game, but how about last week? 6 sacks, great coverage downfield, which helped that pass rush. They are really working in sync right now.
The Texans send the punter out as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. Taken right around the 44. A good return there, 17 yards. And the Packers will have a short field to work with here as they take over 1st and 10. The Packers offense now, they get ready to head back onto the field. And, Charles, if the season ended today, and it's not going to, we still have December left.
More football.
We're only in November. But they would be a wild card team, and that's great. They'd be in the playoffs, but you know they're trying to bump up to be one of those division leaders.
That guarantees you at least one home game in the playoffs, and that's what you're really seeking. But there also isn't much margin for error for this team, right? Because right where they're sitting, a 2-game losing streak could have them out of the playoffs. So they've got to make sure they continue to keep the momentum going.
Absolutely. There's some sharks smelling blood in the water behind them. Give them 12 yards on that one. It earns them a fresh set of downs. Right back to him on 1st down. 12 yards there as they move the chains.
And there we see an early burst that makes him one of the leading rushers in the league.
Well, I want you to know, I listened to you yesterday when we were watching film. You said write down the word vision for him. It was on display there, wasn't it?
It certainly was, because he allows the blocks to set up in front of him. And if that continues, it could be a long afternoon for those guys trying to play some defense.
The first red zone opportunity now for the Packers. They've got a 1st and 10 at the 15. Here's Rodgers to throw. And it's incomplete.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that 1st down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10. Now Rodgers going to throw again. Touchdown, Packers. In for the score. And the Packers have taken the early lead. And, partner, they found a gap there on the post pattern, and it was in the middle third of the field.
And that's really difficult to do because ordinarily the safeties are back there to prevent that happening. But they found the opening and exploited it.
Crosby with the extra point, and it's now a 7-0 game. Crosby on now to kick it away. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The Texans offense now, they get set to head back onto the field. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of 1st downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. 6 yards on the pickup, and it'll make it a 2nd down. They'll come up now 2nd and 4 from the 31. Watson hands this to Foreman, and he'll lose yardage here, going down back at the 28. It'll be a loss of a full 3 yards there, and it also brings up 3rd down. They'll need to convert a 3rd and 7, though, to start things out. Out of the gun, Watson. And he's got the completion to Hopkins. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. A gain of 26 on the 3rd down conversion. A shotgun snap for Watson. Under pressure now, Watson, and down he goes.
Now, that was just absolute perfect man coverage. Nowhere for them to go with the football. Led to a sack. And that's really difficult to do in today's NFL with all these gazelles running around that you're trying to cover in the secondary.
Don't need it all back at once, but you figure they're going to need something here. 17 yards to go on 2nd down. From the gun, here's Watson. That escapes the sack. Oh, the ball is out. Watson lost it. The Texans on third down. They've only converted once in 4 tries. This is 3rd and 14. Here's Watson operating from the gun. And he's going to go down. They sack him back at the 42. Bud Dupree in there to drop him for his 5th sack of the year. The Texans send the punter out as he's on here to punt it away. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. Oh, he takes it in, doesn't let it bounce. He takes it at the 2. 35 yards on the return. Picked up some good blocks as well. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. And now the Packers get set to go. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked. But you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
Now, the first play of the drive there is incomplete.
Play action is supposed to be used to slow down pressure, slow down blitzes. In this case, though, if it takes a little too long to develop, you got people right in your face.
And lucky just to get rid of the ball with the arm going forward. Could have been a fumble. Line of scrimmage, again the 37 as they line up 2nd and 10. Now a play fake. Rodgers. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
You got to give some credit there, able to hop up in the air and bat that one away. And that's frustrating for an offensive lineman because the only recourse is when he goes in the air to try and get some type of a pop or a shove, hoping to bring his arms down.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10.
Hey, check 26. Jump out. Jump out. Hey, check 26. Is it good?
To throw, it's Rodgers. He's going to fire one deep, and that's caught inside the 35. A very nice pickup of 33 yards.
Well, partner, I'm not sure how this drive's going to end, but how about the way they flip field position there? A nice attacking play that picked up a heck of a chunk of yardage.
So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30. They'll run it now out of the guns. Now a loose football. Coleman lost it.
Wow, that ball gets knocked free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get him home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover.
26.
Rodgers to throw on 2nd down. That's caught by Meredith right side. And he'll go down at the 28. And they'll get 9 there as that sets him up better for 3rd down.
I always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? And I'm like, any of them, especially if it's a good receiver. That makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as screens in order to get open, that makes things tough for guys trying to get to the football.
Throwing is Rodgers on 3rd down. Drops it off for Coleman. And he's able to get it down to the 25-yard line. Call it a gain of 3. And that's going to make it 4th down. Instead of throwing it downfield, Charles, they just tried to dump it underneath there. You like the call?
I do. I think it's a high percentage play because you get the completion, and what you're counting on is your back to use his legs and his elusiveness to make people miss and pick up the 1st down. In this case, it didn't happen.
So that's a 7-play drive that ultimately stalls out there at the end.
And things were a little leaky in the beginning on that drive, weren't they? But how about the front 7? As they got closer to their goal line, things stiffened a little bit, forced the field goal.
This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he'll take it back to about the 19-yard line. And now out comes Houston. And with this deficit, you can't have too many more drives like the last drive where you had to punt it away.
You know what I would tell my offense right here? The punter doesn't exist, guys. He doesn't even exist. He's not a team anymore. I just cut him, all right? So you've got to go out and create some offense for us here and give us some points. No way does that guy get on the field on this drive.
Poor punter.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault. But, hey, listen, there's got to be casualties at times. We're trying to win a game. Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
To throw on second is Watson. He goes underneath the Drake. It's a gain of 7, and that is going to set up a 3rd and 1.
I know most of the time when the ball's in the air, you're thinking wide receiver, tight end, but running backs, they can be a big part of any passing offense nowadays.
The Texans on 3rd down, just 1 for 5 to this point. They're up against a 3rd and 1 situation. Watson from the gun, he'll throw. And that is incomplete. Well, they've had a pretty frustrating first half here offensively, and then just continued there with that incompletion.
And definitely frustrating for them, but heartening for the other guys. Those stop troops, they're enjoying things right now because they've made it very difficult for them throughout the half.
The Texans send the punter out. He's been one of their few bright spots so far. And this is away. It's a high kick, and he got all of it. He'll return it from the 6. 62 yards on the punt that time. Wow. And the Packer drive will start from deep in their own territory with a 1st and 10. The Green Bay offense now about ready to take possession here. And they're not going to play this conservative, I don't think. They had the field goal last time, and they're up, but they're looking to put a drive in the end zone.
Oh, I agree with you totally. No one goes out on the field and says, all right, let's just settle for 3, except in certain situations, trying to ice a game, that sort of deal. Most of the time, it's end zone, and that's what you're thinking, and I believe that's exactly what they're thinking as they begin this one.
Yeah, no quarterback ever goes out there saying, hey, let's get 3, right?
Not one that I've ever met.
On 2nd down, here's Rodgers. And he's going to drop this off to his fullback. And they'll bring him down here up at about the 22-yard line. Call it a 1-yard gain on the play. And that's going to bring up a 3rd down. From the gun, it's Rodgers. A hit as he throws there, incomplete.
Nothing open downfield, and he had to get that one out in a hurry because he just knew he was about to take a big shot. Probably couldn't get his legs into the throw. Became an all-arm throw, trying to check it down to his running back. Incomplete.
His first punt, 48 yards. This one looks equally as good. And the Texans set to come onto the field. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
Now here's a pass on 1st down that's knocked away and incomplete.
This defense has been very disruptive early on as they force another one to go awry.
Seems to be the front and the back end. Pass rush, they've been able to get home, and they're taking the ball away in coverage as well.
I love how you put it together. The front and back working in sync. Only way to play good defense.
Throwing again is Watson. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 38. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field. Wait a second. They did not accept that after the incompletion. What? Your look is just as puzzled as mine.
I got nothing for you here. You have to take that penalty, don't you?
It's 3 yards. Rodgers now on 1st down. That's complete right around the 8. And he's going to be brought down just shy of the 5 at the 6. 5 yards on the catch there brings up 2nd down.
One thing I can say pretty safely, That route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you're going to lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-arm guy who can right foot in there, and they were able to successfully complete that one.
Coleman now. Flashed a nifty move, but they'll drop him at the 5-yard line. And now the Texans want to call another timeout as they'll talk it over here before what will be an important 3rd down.
Hey, check 26. 319. Blue 58.
Rodgers going to throw. Eluding the pressure right. And he's got it. It's caught for a Packers touchdown. Equanimous St. Brown hitting double digits with his 10th touchdown of the season. And the Packers add on to their lead. Extra point up and good by Crosby. And that makes our score 17-0. Crosby on now to kick it away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And the decision to bring it out will cost him about 5 yards as he'll get this only back to the 20. And here comes the Texans now. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see. Packer pressure, and down he goes. Kenny Clark getting in there from his defensive tackle spot to snow him under for a loss of 4. Sacks, a growing theme in this first half. This is 2nd and long. Operating from the gun, Watson. Trying to lob it in there, but it's incomplete. Those passes out that far wide always make you hold your breath a little bit. Felt like it was in the air for a while.
What it does is allows a defender to gain some ground, come from a long distance, and have a chance to affect the pass.
Here's Watson. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
I tell you, Brandon, this defense is playing with some confidence. Haven't allowed a point yet. Flying to the football. I'm telling you, it's almost 11 to the ball on every snap. Another nice job there to force an incompletion.
This is taken at the 18. A terrific return. 30 yards all in all. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. And Green Bay getting ready to go as they take the field. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline. Because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you scored points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix it.
And Rodgers is going to go down. He's sacked. Jadeveon Clowney in there to bring him down, and that is sack number 17 for him now on the year. They come up on 2nd and long, and the pass protection just has not been there this afternoon. From the gun, Rodgers. And that will be incomplete with a clock down now to 13 seconds. The Packers on 3rd down. They've converted just 2 for 6 thus far. This will be 3rd and 19. Now it's Rodgers. He'll give up 6 yards there on the loss, and it'll bring up 4th down. And they're going to take a timeout defensively. So with 4th down coming up, they go ahead and burn it and say we'll see what happens. And the punt team on now as this one's sent away. And now out comes Houston. And you got to think, if this is anything other than just taking a knee, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, they've got enough to talk about at the half. Why do anything else? Just get out of there.
And now we'll get a late timeout as it comes in the waning moments of quarter number 2. Final play of the first half, barring a penalty, as they come up on 1st and 10. And with time running short here, so I'm waltzing down Main Street, got an umbrella, just a torrential downpour, and I look over, and this guy's stone-faced wearing a poncho that says, "Don't rain on my parade," and he is just angry. And we got to go. I'll tell you the rest later. Here we go, third quarter.
Now that's the kind of return you're looking for. To get to that spot on the field, that allows you to do a lot of things on offense.
Now trotting out there, the Packers getting ready to go. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? They score here, especially a touchdown. It's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays accordingly, because what you really want to do, even though you know the score.
Now look out, Rodgers lost the football, but it looked like a Packer. Yeah, a Packer was able to get this back, and they'll indeed keep possession.
On plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back, because this is a quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
And the pressure gets to him again.
They need to stop to get back into this game, and here's one right to start the third quarter.
Yeah, anytime you go into the lockers with that 2-3 score deficit, you're right. You need that stop, get the football back, and they've done just that.
Series to series, play to play.
Rodgers now, after the sack, he'll lead the pack up on 3rd and long. Rodgers operating from the gun. And this is going to be incomplete.
And it is true. You can draft the fastest. You can draft the most athletic guys. But if they don't know the art of positioning, sometimes it's all for naught. In this case, in the right spot, helped force the incompletion.
Yeah, but had his hands on it for a second. Would have been a tough catch, though. Falls incomplete. And did they keep it in? They did. They kept it in. It's down close to the goal line at the 1-yard line. So here's the Texans offense now. They get set to start this third quarter. They were able to get the stop defensively. Now a chance to turn that into points on the offensive end.
Can you imagine what the grease board looks like at the half? Because
no, tell me.
That's exactly what they printed up. Stop them on defense, get the ball back for our offense, and go downfield and score some points. Now, the last part remains to be seen, but they got the first part done very well.
Do people use grease boards, or you mean the magic marker boards?
Yeah, those two.
Right back to Drake. And he'll take this up to about the 7 or 8 yard line. The first-round pick, Jair Alexander, making the tackle.
Tough first half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well.
Off of play action, it's Watson. And incomplete here on 3rd down. It's been this way most of the afternoon, hasn't it? This secondary, it really put this receiving core on lockdown.
Listen, they've worked together like a basketball team is playing excellent defense. Great communication, doesn't matter whether it's man or zone. And especially against deep balls, as we saw there, they're not giving up anything to them.
Now a hit and a loose football. And Green Bay getting ready to go as they take the field. This crew had to punt last time they had the ball, but when you've got a lead like this, you content to play the field position game?
You are to an extent, especially if you like your defense, because you have the lead, you've been controlling the game. But why put them in a tougher spot? You want to get out there and get something done on offense and maybe take command of this game yourself.
Now the man from UTEP, this is Aaron Jones. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. And a nice carry there of 15 yards.
At this stage of the game, the run-pass numbers are a little bit out of whack because most of their yardage has come through the air.
Come on.
But in a sense, that just sets things up for big runs like that because the defense might be a little bit off balance. They pick up another first down with that run.
Rodgers now on first down. And that's hauled in by St. Brown over the middle. And he'll take it down here just shy of the 15 at the 16-yard line.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target. He's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did.
On first and 10, here's Rodgers. That's complete right around the 8. And he's going to be brought down just shy of the 5 at the 6. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up second down.
We are going. No.
They'll toss it to Coleman. Oh, a little 360. It's a 5-yard gain, but they'll still be a yard short here with third down now looming.
Third quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
The Packers on third down. They've struggled to the tune of 2 for 8 so far. They need just a yard here. It's 3rd and 1.
Hey, we are going.
Back to the ground, this time with Jones. And he'll take this into the end zone for a Green Bay touchdown. A great effort there. His 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Packers add 6 to their lead. Crosby connects on the extra point, and the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. Crosby on now to kick it away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. The Texans offense now, they get set to head back on the field here. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone. And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone, not even put points on the board. They've got to just take a deep breath, relax, try and figure out what is working, and call more of that. Nice way to start the drive, a gain of 12 and a first down. Running lanes were at a premium in the first half, but he's able to find some room there, and he's hoping that that's a precursor of a big second half. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on first and 10.
Richmond.
Watson on first down. Hopkins on the grab over the middle. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. A good pick up there of 20 yards. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. On first down, Drake. And he's able to carve out about 6 there, down to the 37. Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice, solid game. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
Richmond.
Here's Watson now on second down. And the Packers give him nowhere to go, and they bring him down.
Brandon, I think you understand the type of afternoon this offensive line is having. It is a long one for them. Long for you to spend it with me. Long for them trying to block those guys. They've given up a whole lot of sacks, and the speed and quickness of that defensive line is eating them alive.
Throwing on third down, Watson. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete. We saw this a lot in the first half, and it continues. These receivers just not able to get much separation.
So that means they have to win the 50-50 balls. They've got to go up with the defender and find a way to start coming down with them.
And this time, contact and another incomplete pass. And this is going to hit the goal line and continue on into the end zone for a touchback. The Packers offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. And they'll just simply be looking to build off the confidence of the last time out where they scored a touchdown.
And confidence is powerful, isn't it? When you've scored once, you feel like you can go back out there and get it done again. Doesn't matter what the defense throws at them. They feel like they're in a groove right now, and they want to get out there and show it.
Yeah, hoping to stay in that groove here this go-around. And they'll get it down here at the 23. The completion good for 3, and it's second down. This is Coleman. And up to the 35 before they're able to knock him down. They pick up 12 on the play there, and they move the chains.
Now, this is an example of breaking down a defense, because on a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
Get reset. Hey, easy.
Now a first down carry by Jones. And he's across the 40, 3 extra yards to the 43. 9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. They'll go again to Jones. And another mistake here defensively as a flag is down on the tackle, and that's going to tack on 15 more. So the face mask, quite a blessing there as they'll start out of harm's way with a 1st and 10. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll be brought down on what's going to turn out to be the final play of this. They stay on the ground. Again, it's Coleman. Looking for a crease, can't find one. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. Shaq Thompson on the tackle that time.
I know that speed is the hallmark of today's NFL game, but the key to good rushing defense is still having your linebackers set the edge.
The Packers on 3rd down. They've converted a 1/3 of their opportunities, 3 for 9. This will be 3rd and 6. Shotgun now for Rodgers. He'll get the first down and more inside the 20. And he's all the way down to the 13-yard line. They convert on 3rd with a gain of 22. Still throwing the football here, even with the big lead.
Yeah, I know you and I came up in a different era, and we think about sportsmanship and all that. Other people think about fantasy points and getting their numbers. That's all they care about right now.
Into the red zone. It's Rodgers. It's going to be caught at the 10-yard line. And he'll be brought down this time at the 5-yard line. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion.
Fired that one in there, able to make connection on a nice in route.
With those faster passes when they're going that fast, any hesitation as a quarterback that the deflection, if you miss, might be bigger and lead to an interception?
Yeah, and the deflection works both ways. Maybe a defender gets a hand in the way and it pops in the air. And sometimes you throw it so hard your receiver can't handle it, and he pops it up in the air for the defenders to grab as well.
But a moot point there as they were able to connect. Now a 2nd down throw for the end zone, but it's incomplete. The Packers on 3rd down. They're right at about the league average, 40%, 4 for 10. This time they face a 3rd and 2. Coleman. And he maybe makes it back to the line of scrimmage. That's it. No gain there on the play, and that's going to leave them with a 4th down.
Okay, no score on that play, but this guy's been a touchdown machine all year long. You know they trust him with the football.
And Crosby puts it through, And the lead increases even further. It's 27-0 now. So it's 3 more points, and that widens this thing out even further here in the fourth.
And you know in this league, you can never have enough points, but this widens it out, as you said, and now it's all about ball control, isn't it?
And that one carries out of the side of the end zone for a touchback, so that will come out now to the 25-yard line. Heading out is the Texans offense as they get set to take over here. And down on the scoreboard, certainly needing to avoid what happened on the last drive, punting the football.
Sense of urgency has to take over for them here. They know the score. They know the situation. And by the way, the punter no longer exists for their offense. That's how they have to treat this drive.
They need points.
Big time.
He's going to loft one deep left side here. And he's going to be intercepted a third time. Kevin King with a pick. And the return here will go to the 31-yard line.
Well, this defensive pressure has been constant all game long. The pass rush, the coverage, they've all been excellent, and now they'll tack on an interception here as this one continues to slip just further and further out of hand.
Rodgers will break the huddle and bring the pack up 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line.
Hey, check 26.
So after the INT, it's Rodgers. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
They went with a dime look on defense. 2 extra defensive backs on the field and covered up essentially every blade of grass. That allowed them to disrupt the play.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 as they line up 2nd and 10. Rodgers will try again on 2nd down. And that one got tipped, kind of threw everything off. It brings up 3rd.
So much of this game is about leverage. We always talk about low man wins in the trenches. Well, it's like that in just about every position. And sometimes, if you lose that leverage and you're losing the battle, just jump up at the line of scrimmage and try and bat the ball away. And that's exactly what happened there.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. Working from the gun, Rodgers. The ball popped in the air and intercepted. Picked off by Rodney McLeod. And they take possession of the football and have it at the 36-yard line. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. They'll start the drive with Drake. And he'll take this one for about 4 up to the 40.
And that's one of the reasons you like to blitz even on rundowns. It confuses the blocking assignments. It doesn't allow those offensive linemen to get up to the 2nd level.
That's what I'm talking about. Nice hit, boy. You don't want none of that. Get it. Pick up the ball. Tiger.
On 2nd down, here's Watson. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Hopkins. And he's going to get this down to the 35-yard line. A really nice gain of 25 yards. They go play action here on 1st down. Under pressure now, Watson, and down he goes.
We've been around this league for a while, and many coaches never pull their starting quarterback, almost no matter the situation. In this case, though, I think he's got to make a decision. He's taking a pretty good beating out there.
Yeah, and with the deficit, maybe not wanting to risk an injury. Coming up now on a 2nd and 15 following that sack. On the toss play, this is Drake. And he'll take this one down to about the 40. Vanderbilt's own Oren Burks had the tackle defensively.
Well, we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
3rd and long, it's Watson. He sets to fire deep. And incomplete. He can't hang on. Would have been a nice catch. Instead, it brings up a 4th down.
This defense is continuing to contest every deep ball that is thrown downfield. And, look, it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually, that becomes man-on-man, and you've got to trust yourself and go up at that moment of truth and make a play on the football.
Well, it's a Pyrrhic victory at best, but, Charles, no team wants to get shut out, so it's hard to blame them for taking the 3 there.
You can't blame them one bit. It hasn't been the best performance, that's for darn sure. But there is something to be said for fighting to avoid the goose egg, and they're at least trying to finish out strong.
The Packer offense now ready to get back onto the field. Rodgers will bring the Pack up with a 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. They begin the drive with Coleman. And he'll take this up near the 35, maybe the 34. A nice run there, 9 yards, and it'll be 2nd down. And when do they start thinking about burning these timeouts? They've got all 3 still defensively.
To me, you have to start right now. Here's the time, and that means you've got to stop them on defense, not give up the yardage, use your timeouts in order to get the ball back and try and score yourself. But now is the time to start using those timeouts.
And keep in mind, it'll also stop the clock at the 2-minute warning. They will run again with Coleman. And he'll be brought down. Oh, that's a face mask. Certainly looked like it. Indeed, here come the flags. After the penalty, a fresh set of downs. It's 1st and 10. Here's Coleman. And that play will go nowhere. Losing yardage back near midfield at the 49. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down. They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. Time for a break. Back to finish it off on EA Sports after this. And they'll go on the ground. Finding room inside the 40. And he'll be brought down somewhat awkwardly here, and a late flag as well. I think this one's going to be a face mask. They're down here in the 4th, and that personal foul penalty is not going to help.
No, in these types of situations, players will tell you that's extra intensity. From where we sit, it's actually frustration, not a good play.
So the yellow flag came out, and that leads to a new set of downs for this offense. 1st and 10. Rodgers throwing here. This will be caught at about the 6. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly. And, my friend, I think it's safe to say that this game is pretty much deceased at this point. It's taken a knee, so to speak.
It is definitely this victory formation. Take the snap, take the knee, call it a night, call it a game, call it whatever. I agree with you totally. I don't think there's much left to get except for those who want to run up the score.
I knew this was over about a minute ago when you took your stat sheet and just flipped it over your shoulder in the trash can.
Yeah, that's similar to the guys cutting tape off right before the game's over. We know this thing's done.
Now the Texans offense, they head back out to do battle here. They've lost this one. Their offense has struggled. Do they try to put together something here at the end just to take into next week?
Yeah, sometimes teams want to do that and coaches want to. I remember one time I was on a team and we were losing late in the game like this, and you knew it was lost. It was over, right? And the coach called a running play and pretty much said to everyone, I want to see something executed well before we get out of here. And that was the message to the team.
Just something to build on.
Just something to build on, get it done, and maybe we can look at that and say, we'll get better as we go forward.
And yet again, this run game just continues to be completely shut off.
Completely stymied. I mean, they're trying to get some consistency, trying to find places to roam. They just haven't been there throughout this game.
And they will take a knee here. All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on 4th down. They're going for it.
58, right over there, right over there. Yeah, Mike, 58, right there.
One last throw here for Watson. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And that will be incomplete as time has run out on this football game. A road win in the National Football League. Charles, you never take that for granted no matter who you're playing, no matter where you're playing.
You take it and you run with it. And you know you primed the pump all week in your own home facility. No one thinks we can do this. Only people who believe are right here in this room. And then you go on the road, band together, and get it done.
So for the Packers, it's an important win for their playoff hopes as they move